You also argue that we need to stop thinking of organizations as pyramids and instead start seeing them as bridges. Why is this shift so critical?
Right? This is your typical kind of like org chart kind of shape, right? Where you've got your CEO at the top and then your org chart that flows out, right? Kind of looks like a triangle. The problem with that is that we end up kind of artificially creating pathways for only a certain number of people. This is so normal. This is the way almost all companies work. But I promise you, there are other shapes that work better than the pyramid. And they're extremely more resilient and they're way more fun to be a part of. But anyway, so what we've got is this kind of traditional top-down pyramid shape, right, that everybody's familiar with, right? Everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about with that kind of org chart. I'm contrasting that with a bridge, right, which is like really flat, and it has lots of, and I'm thinking of a bridge that has lots of, supports underneath it. So you've got lots of different pathways up to get to the top of the bridge, right? So if you imagine a bridge with, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of supports under it, there's all sorts of ways to get to the top. There's not just kind of like one person at the top, right? The whole thing can be the top in a bridge, right? Like that's the whole thing that connects customers to value. And so what I want to encourage leaders to think about is building more pathways to help people do more of what brings them life and energy at work. And the pyramid structure is actually holding you back because it's artificially constraining the pathways that people could take. And if we open up more possibilities, if we open up our minds to imagine and to use some of that artistry to say like we can imagine more ways to do this, the system, right? The structure itself of the pyramid is really creating these constraints. There's really no reason that says a company, there's nothing that says a company has to be structured that way. It's just, again, like if you've never experienced anything else, you're going to have a hard time imagining something new. But there are lots of other examples out there and that could give you of organizations who do this in very different ways. And it ends up being a lot better for the humans that work inside them because they're not feeling like the constraints of that artificial kind of structure.